Good day, everybody. It's Greg Schnell, and I am here with the market review for October the 19th, 2019. Friday ended up with a stumbling software group, and I wanted to talk more about that this week, trying to help everybody get established to make sure that they're set up so, first of all, they can see that it's happening, and second of all, to very simply get organized so that you can use the tools on StockCharts and see what's going on quickly. So to find my blogs, we're going to go to StockCharts.com, go to the Articles tab, drop-down menu on the right, and in there you'll also find the Canadian Technician, Don't Ignore This Chart, and Chart Watchers, so you can always watch for them there. And if you go to gregschnell.com, you'll also find that blogs that I write for StockCharts and for my own site and for other sites are available there. So please hit subscribe if you're interested. And again, gregschnell.com, I have all of the payment stuff working. The only thing I'm having trouble with is getting the confirmation email to go out. So if you'd like to sign up for the launch, I'm going to have a founder's price. It's literally going to be locked in for a lifetime, but you have to get it before the whole thing starts. So anyway, I'd suggest this probably last weekend. And then contact information, info at Greg Schnell. You can also reach me on Twitter at Schnell Investor, and the website's gregschnell.com. So today's agenda, I want to just cover off software stocks, and first of all, how to get a list of them very quickly, how to sort the list, saving the sort order, and how I analyze the list, and then sell signals or buy signals. But we're going to spend the time focused on that and try and get everybody set up so that when we have a day like today, the Friday, all of a sudden we can quickly go there and see what's going on. So I'm going to show a couple of things: how to get the list created very quickly, how to sort the list, how to get rid of low price stocks if you don't like them, then save the sort order, all that kind of stuff. So this is pretty easy to do, so let's get on with it, and I'll just jump over to Safari. So here we go. So what we're going to do on Safari, we're at this basic page, and we want to go in and we want to create a new chart list. So it doesn't matter, just go grab any stock, and what we want to do on here, we want to edit a list, and we want to create a new list. So we just want to say new, and in my case, all of my industry group stocks all start with this 6010 space dash space, and then I've got S for software so that it helps me sort them alphabetically so that I can find them quickly. Whereas if I didn't have the numbers at the front, that would be a problem. And then the second thing is, if I don't have that tab, so as an example for oil and gas, I could put it under O for oil and gas, or I could put it under G for gas, or I could put it under whatever. So I've helped to select it so that it by using the first letter, I get a ranking within that digit sequence. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And actually, in this particular case, I already have a software stock list, so I want to call this one Software 2020 for next year. And we're going to save that. Now, what we want to do here is we want to go and get stocks from a group, and the industry group that we want to get in this case is software. So we're going to just go down here to software, and we're going to grab the whole group, and it's going to add all the charts. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom, we're done. So that makes it quite nice. Now, one of the problems we have, of course, when we go look at this list, is that it has 25-cent and 3-cent stocks and all that kind of stuff in here. So I'm not a big fan of that. So what I would like to do is I would like to get rid of all of the software stocks. So let's just scroll down to the bottom here, and I want to get rid of all of the very low price stocks. So whatever, anything under, I don't know, $2 or $3, $5 even. So let's call it this can go. That's going to be our dividing point. Anything less than that, we're going to get rid of. And so let's sort the stocks in. We've got them sorted in price order, and now we're just going to put a number on the front of them. So we're going to scroll to the bottom again. We're going to say number in sorted order. Okay, and so now it's going to bring them up, and they've got numbers on them now. And so this number is the order of the price. That's all, nothing, not performance related at all. But again, we were going to try and find where the stock price changes to $5. So we want to go to Kango here at CANG, and it's number 1970. So 1970 and down we want to get rid of. So what we do now is go scroll back up to the top, and we're just going to go in and edit this list, and we're going to go down here to 1970. Sorry about the scrolling. And then we're just going to quickly just check all these boxes. And you might want all the stocks that are under $5. You can do it the opposite way. You can do it whatever way you want. You might want stocks over 20 or over 10. You get to pick them. Just set them up here. But we're going to just quickly fire through and get rid of all of these low-priced ones, because for me, I don't really want to buy illiquid, low-price software stocks. And so it seems like it takes a long time. It's going to take almost a whole minute here to get rid of all of these. And as we work through that, I think the number one thing that this helps us do, though, is focus on winning stocks, and stocks that are obviously getting bid up. And when you have a software stock that starts at under $2, we probably it's got to be a very innovative company, and I think you might want to wait until it gets a little bigger. Anyway, okay, so we can see the bottom of the list approaching here, and we're just going to fire this off and get rid of it. Okay, so that was quick, and now delete. And in 1 minute, we've got a complete list of all the software stocks that are above $5. Now we want to scroll down and to the very bottom, and we want to get rid of all of these numbers we've just put on here, because the problem with these numbers is that they don't have, they aren't in any order other than price, which isn't very helpful. So we want to remove the numbers from the front. And so with that, now we've got the numbers removed. Now we want to go back and we want to sort it on something more valuable, and perhaps either the scooter ranking or something like that would be something helpful. At least we could work with that. Perhaps volume, and then from those two things, everything that we've got is in this industry group, so it's not going to help us to pick the sector or the industry group. So now we're going to sort it by, let's do volume first of all, and then sort by scooter ranking. And that way, anything that doesn't have an SCTR ranking, because either their market cap isn't big enough or whatever, at least it'll put the high volume ones close to the bottom of this list. So now we're going to scroll down to the bottom again. So in my case, it's just function and the arrow key, and it takes us down to number in sort order, and we want to say yes. So what this is going to do is put the strongest stocks up at the top here, and we can quickly go in and look. And I think if we just quickly change our sort order today to see, what was performing well and what was not performing well, one other thing that pops out, here's Slack Technologies. It was a new IPO, and it just keeps getting bombed out. This is down another 10%. Datadog has been a big name. That one was down 7. CrowdStrike is another. Coupa. So all of these were big software companies, and you could see Coupa, that's quite a reversal on that chart. But we're going to get into them. But the idea of either sorting them by the strongest stocks first, as you can see, there's a few of these here that don't have scooter ranking because they're brand new software. So we could put those in. But again, it was a pretty red day for the software business. And when we get down to the bottom here, obviously we're going to still find some companies in here that are okay. But for the most part, it was a dreadful day. But here's Workday, and it was down 2% on the day. And if we look at that chart, it's been breaking down already, so that's not its first rodeo, and it looks like we're getting bucked off on this one. Here's Lyft, and you can see it's down in the bottom corner. So anyway, hopefully that gives you an idea of how we could quickly sort. And again, if you decided that you wanted to sort or find out which were the worst stocks hit today, then we would just go get rid of those numbers. And how would we do that again? We're going to go to edit mode. Well, we could just do it here. We're going to scroll to the very bottom. You would just select all, and you would say remove the numbers from it. You would go back into summary mode, just like I just did. You could rewind the tape here. Go back into summary mode, and you'd be able to get those stocks sorted by Friday's close or whatever you'd like. And you could do it based on a week or whatever, but then sort it and then pull up all of those stocks and go through them based on best to worst or worst to best or whatever, any particular way. But the whole idea here is by getting them into a group, now you can play with them. So I'm not going to take them out because I do want to look at them in the order they're in, which is the strongest stocks first. And that doesn't mean they aren't breaking down right now, but it is giving us the best stocks, the highest scooter rankings right at the top here. Okay, next thing I like to use, we could go in and look at 60-minute charts, or we could go in and look at daily. Again, I like to use weekly charts, so that's what I'm going to do. And if a stock doesn't have an SCTR ranking, then the first part of our scan list is going to miss that. So that's just kind of the way that works. Okay, so but that gives us the stock for one page. What we want is for all of them to look like they're on the weekly chart. So we're just going to scroll down here and apply style to this whole group. And when we do that, now we've got a new list. Scooter ranking may or may not help us, but in this case, the stock just got a scooter ranking, and so it goes back and it ranks it from when it used to have one. Then it lost it for all this period of time, and now it's started to get one again because its market cap is back up high enough. Anyway, with that, let's go into view all, and now we can just quickly work through to see what's happening in this sector. And the one thing this company, Digital Turbine, APPS, I mean, this has been a beautiful performer from $1 up to $5. Maybe that's the kind of stock you like, and maybe I shouldn't have deleted those $1 to $5, but for me, not the one I'm interested in here. Now, all of the stocks are ranked on a logarithmic scale here. And what you see is this stock was $5 back in mid-2018. It's 56 now, so it's been a 10-bagger, and it's just been grinding its way sideways. But obviously, lots going on there, and it's a small cap stock, but it does have some divergence here where the momentum is lower now, and price is about the same. I would be inclined to draw a trend line across here like this. And what I would want to see, so in what happened here was we kind of had downsloping momentum. Now we've got the same thing, and when that starts to improve, go back through that trend line, I'd like it. So you could either set up an alert or a scan to say when this stock INS goes above 15% on the PPO. It's at 14 now or whatever. So when it goes up, we could zoom in on it and figure it out what level we'd like, 15 or 16%, or when it turns back above its signal line, whatever you want. Give me a signal to come back in and look at this stock, and maybe there's still lots more life in that. But anyway, so that's kind of what I would do to just, as we work through this chart list. Now I'm going to flip back here and just keep going. So here's Simulations Plus, and on this one, again, a lot of these companies have been running for a long time, and now they're starting to pull back. That doesn't make them bad. It just means it's going to give us an opportunity to buy them at some point in the future. And what we want to do is be all set up so that when they do turn, we can come back and get them. So this one, it looks like it's still on a road out of town, and I'd probably just want to wait for that road. Don't want to jump in front of that one. Shopify, I sold this one today. I was trying to own it, and I just bought it last week, but it literally gapped up and then reversed and gapped down, and so I'm out. It had a very rough week. It was down 14.50, but that doesn't say the whole story. The stock actually had 2 down days totaling over $50 or something. So it was quite a reversal from the high 349 this week to the low 312. What is that? $37 or something. So it was quite a big move. I think, there was a move down by $28. Then there was a day that it went up 8 or 10 or something and then pulled back down again. So the total move anyway is pretty significant. It was almost 10% range this week, but what we found more importantly was the stock was giving back while we were close to the highs, and we really don't want to see more weakness in the software group. But if that's going to happen, I don't want to try and hold these volatile stocks during that period. So here's Sapiens Intelligence Corp or International Corp, and this one's been trending up nicely, still looks good, nothing wrong with the stock. Draw a trend line under the relative strength here, and if that starts to break, I'd probably want to get out of the stock at that point. Looking at Rubicon Project, this one is a really nice uptrending stock too. And again, same thing. It could just oscillate like this on the PPO for a long time. So you probably want to get it near the lows. You don't want to wait until it get all the way up to the highs. But this is one of those stocks where it was out of favor for a long time, it's come back into favor, and now it's been running really, really nicely, especially since the December low, and worked its way higher. DocuSign, I've covered this group a couple of times, but this DocuSign is a pretty nice looking chart, and again, setting up here against the top, I think it's an important place on the chart. Now here's American Software, again trending higher. So you're getting the idea that the strong stocks are at the beginning. So now what we can do is as we get to the bottom of this page, we're going to go this nuance. This looks really interesting if it could start to break out through here. But now we're going to jump whatever halfway into the list. And these stocks still have scooter rankings, but as you can see, they're software stocks going nowhere fast, and they're actually pointed down and out. And maybe you want to get this one. So as an example, on this SailPoint Technologies, let's just say they actually had something that we wanted to buy. The way I would want to see it first is I want to see this momentum trend break first. It's kind of a long established rule in technical analysis that momentum should change trend before or with price. And so when this starts to break this big long downtrend, then I'm going to be more interested in the stock. Obviously on the IPO it ran up from 12 to 34, so it had something going on, and now it's had some tough struggles here. It's trying to base around this 18, maybe it comes up. I don't really at this point, it's not what they do. What I want to know is when the stock starts to behave better, and then if I actually wanted to know more about the story, then I would go investigate it as to why it might be starting to improve. So here's another one, Zura, but all of these are breaking down. And again, just because they're breaking down doesn't mean they're permanently broken. It just means they're not ready to buy yet, and we want to set up a plan for that. So here's CRM again. It's been migrating lower, hit $167 back in April, so 6 months later, and we're sitting here just dribbling lower. It's not selling off hard, it's just not going up. And again, I would just draw a trend line across here, and once momentum starts to break that downward trend line like it did back in here, that was a nice place to get on board, and that was a nice big run. So just keep watching them to see if that starts to happen. Here's Splunk, Tenable Holdings, and again, you get the idea. These are breaking. So here is Twilio, and what we see on here is as it's rolling over, it's now below its 10-week and its 40-week. That's not very constructive, but we want some sort of a signal. So even if it's full stochastic turning up on this chart list, it'll let us go and look at the stock and see if that's something we want to start to look for. Here's Fortinet, and you can just see it's down and to the right, nothing really. I'm more interested in the ones now that might have no volume. So this Ceridian Holdings, look at this. It was $22 to $58, and it's already down 13. So it's given back about 38% or something like that, 30%. But we're breaking below support here that goes back, all the way to February. So this stock looks broken, and again, your uptrend in relative strength is now broken. So I would stay away from it until we could start to figure that out. This stock is brand new, so I want to just find the ones where the scooter ranking doesn't exist. So this one has a scooter ranking. Sorry, did I screw that up? Yeah, so it's somewhere on this page where the stocks go from having no scooter ranking at all. So here we are. So this is Slack Technologies, and we're living down near the bottom of that. Another one again. So if the market cap is too small, or if it has too low a price, then it won't get included. Now this price is up quite high, but for some reason it hasn't been included in the scooter ranking. Don't know, but here it is at $53 and dropping to $37. Pretty meaningful pullback already. It was a really tough week, and again, you're seeing these uptrends in these software stocks break in momentum. Now what we want to be ready for is when they start to improve. So here's CrowdStrike doing exactly the opposite. Here's Hoya, really choppy for the whole year, hasn't really done anything. Pivotal Software jumped up and went sideways, looks like a buyout or a merger. Here's StoneCo, and again, these are the higher volume stocks in this group. So on a weekly basis, this one is doing, its average is 10 million shares. It didn't quite do that this week, but call it 8 million shares at $34. It's still a lot of trading volume. But this one's just up and to the right and holding here. And as we go down this list, we're going to see the change in trend from these stocks. So we've had IPO stocks and we've had software stocks and a whole bunch of different ways of grouping them. So on my IPOs list, you might have seen this Datadog name when I covered those off. But the idea is having these industry lists so that you can keep working for them. So here we have a low in momentum, and now we have a higher low in momentum trying to set up. And, perhaps this is getting ready to go. You're starting to break this downtrend. You're getting a PPO buy signal, So this one could be at the point where you want it. Here's Cloudflare. That looks like it's flaring out all right. And then again, by using the volume to help us with the stocks that don't have a performance ranking up here in the SCTR, we've at least got a way to group them so we know that there's enough volume here for us to own these. Here's Fastly, and again, a lot of these that don't have the scooter ranking it's either because of their market cap or their actual price. Now, CyberArk, I'm very surprised there's not a scooter ranking for it, but for some reason it got it missed the scan for having one. Anyway, there's an uptrend here in price that's breaking. I think we can all see that. And the scooter or the relative strength is breaking here. I would let this stock come all the way back down. And when it starts to turn up, then I'd show more interest in it. But at this point, it's down 30%, 150 to 100. So no real reason to jump on it yet while momentum is still pointed down and to the right and the whole group is selling off. So another one, again, a lot of these without the scooter ranking are because they're brand new stocks and they just haven't been around long enough to get one. So here's Minecast, and you could see rolling over gently here, but it was a $55 stock, dropped down to $35 the other day. Yeah, it's just weak stock. So you're getting the idea. Here's a small cap that is doesn't have a scooter ranking, but all of a sudden it's heading up here and it's whatever, let's call it $6.30. And at $6.30, at least it's turning up and it's got an uptrend in momentum, an uptrend in price. And even with this week's, I'll call it stalling action on the indexes, this stock was still closing higher and was up 10% on the week. So there's obviously something good going on there. Don't have a clue what they do, but the price action suggests somebody's interested and willing to bid it up 10% this week when the overall S&P was relatively flat. Ping Identity Holdings, this thing is just breaking down. Cerence, you get the idea. All of these are tough trends, but at least by using that volume filter, we can go and find stronger stocks in the group. Okay, so now we've decided to do that. One of the things that I don't usually cover, and I'll do that now, is let's just say that this, why don't I pick a stock with an easier name, but Freesia, PHR is the ticker symbol. Let's just say we want to get an alert when it gets through 29.38. So up here, we can click on the actions, and whatever, we can go into edit chart settings. But when we want to have an alert for a stock like this, I want to draw a line on it. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to pick a horizontal line, and I'm going to say when it goes through whatever, $29 and solid, make it blue, and put the line on the chart. So right here, so when we get above here, we'd like a buy signal. So anyway, we can just save the chart with the annotations we just made. And now we're going to open a new tab. I'm going to go to whatever, it doesn't really matter. I need to go to the dashboard and I want to set up an alert. And in this particular case, it says create your first alert. Yeah, that wouldn't be my first. Anyway, so let's go into alerts and then we say new. And now we want to say, I think the symbol was PHR, and alert me via either email or SMS or website, whichever you prefer. But when it crosses above $29, and we have to say, do we want percent? Do we want a price change or a percentage change? Any of these we can use. So in this case, we're just going to say we want it above. Oh, I think I need to go here. Convert, yeah. So I want the close to go above $29. I want to be alerted continuously all day if the number of results following criteria is greater than 0. So in other words, we get a signal, alert me via, in this case, I'm going to say email and then pause the event. So it's going to run a quick scan, and now we can just save that scan under, and it's going to ask for a name, and we're going to say when PHR breaks $29. So all of a sudden you're going to get an email, and it's going to say that this stock is breaking out, and you could go and take a look and see if that's what you wanted. But the idea of having that is, relatively simple. We're just trying to find what's working. Now, we've still got some other things that we can do with these stocks. We can either use very simple scans to find them as they're starting to turn up. We could go, look for new 52-week highs, whatever. Any of the things we want in here are, once we've got it in a group with stock charts, now we can manipulate the data any way we want. And again, when you get into whatever, I'm just going to go to the dashboard here, and we can go down farther, and you can go to scans, and whatever, you can pick a new scan, and in this new scan, I just want to go and say predefined scans. I want to find a stock that's at a new 52-week high. Well, maybe in the software space, because so many of them are relatively new stocks, maybe we want to look for a 1 month high, a 2 month high, a 3 month high, whatever. So let's just pick a 2 month high. So we're going to pick, and yesterday's daily max was, today's high was greater than the highest high over the last 2 months. And then we'd say run the scan. And the problem that I just did was I ran the scan on everything in the stock market, not just on my group. So now what I need to do is I need to go and get the group. And the way you do that is you just say, I want to run that against my chart list. And we know that we called this Software 2020. So here's our Software 2020 list, and we're going to add it. So it's going to bring it in first. Now, one of the things that'll make your software, your scans run a lot faster is to put this at the front, and then the software doesn't have to go through and check every stock in the market to do that. Now, when you start a scan, it can't start with an and, but then the next line can be and. So we're going to go like that. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, we've got this information, and now we just want to wipe this off the bottom. Okay, so with that, we run a scan, and we could just quickly see, here's our scan results. There's 4 stocks that were turning up, and here's Frisia, that was one of them. Open text, again, we can look at these, we could go in and analyze them, or we can just right click and open them in a new tab and just see what the price action is. But here we go, the stocks, pushing up nicely. Citrix Systems breaking this big downtrend. What's not to like? So anyway, there's a reason to get involved in this stock all of a sudden when it's starting to break out. Scooter ranking starting to improve above 50 for the first time in 6 or 9 months. All of a sudden there's a reason to go look at that stock. Now we can do that very quickly, and again, I ran that scan before, and it was all of the, I'm just going to get rid of this, but it was all of the stocks in the market. Well, that's a little hard, but if it's the software group specifically that I want something that's going to move a little faster and have a little more alpha, then what we're going to do by controlling the size of the scan and restricting it to software, we can have our charts all set up and go in and look within that group. And one more thing I'd like to do, just quickly point out, is gregschnell.com. And if you're looking for my regular market review, that's going to be part of my subscription service. And so under private investors, you can find that here by scrolling down to the bottom. I'll have a special for the annual rate, and hopefully that works for you. Thanks everybody for joining me. Have a great week in the markets. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.